Alright guys, welcome to a new episode of Siege Tactics. This time we are doing the Skaven against the Dowie. So, first thing to note is the type of battle. This is a 90 wall. As you can see, it makes a 90-degree angle. And there's this little pocket all the way in the back that you can put your units and keep them out of the range of the towers. So, all essential units for destroying these towers, just put them back behind the line. Put your two tanks in the front, so the two units that are gonna, or one unit, or at least one unit that's gonna tank the damage. Put them about like right in front of your anti-tower material, which in this case is two plague claw catapults and two warp lightning cannons. One of them being Icket Zap Zap. Icket Zap Zaps. Yeah, Icket's Zap Zap, not Icket Zap Zap. Okay, and what else we got in our army is we got the Doom Wheel, we got Quick Head Taker, we got the Nasty Buboes. So this is going to be sort of like the elite. This is a very elite Skaven army that I'm showing off here. That's punching into a very, very thick and steel dwarven defense. This is basically what a max garrison at the Karak Azul is going to look like, with a full stack army inside of it. So if it was built up to tier 5 and it had the walls, it has all those units, and then it also has a full stack dwarven army that has some hammerers and I think some thunderers and iron breakers, and also the gyrocopter, along with the white dwarf, which I don't know his location. There's the Thane. There's the organ gun. Oh, there he is, Grumbridle, the white dwarf. So we're just going to start this gameplay off real quick and just show off, destroying the towers like usual while we go over the rest of our formation. So the key in this new sort of meta for Total Warhammer 2 is the Poisoned Wind Mortars. You can't really there's no way Skaven can win this battle if they don't have these Poisoned Wind Mortars. There's nothing that can replace these things to be able to do the same kind of damage against these units as they can. There might be some strange and interesting doom stacks, like maybe an entire army of doom wheels may do something strange, like Icket Claw on a doom wheel, and you just blitzkrieg it. Something like that may be feasible, and then you just kind of cycle charge within the walls, which is very difficult with this many Dowie around, but maybe something like that's possible. But as far as I can tell, the only way to really crack an egg like this, or some kind of defense like this, is the Poison Wind Mortars. We also brought the Regiment of Renown along. These ones you want to be a little bit more conservative on their ammunition, just because they hit the hardest. They hit really, really hard. And I'm actually going to fast forward this for the meantime. And also, one thing to keep in mind is when you're playing in the campaign, you want to go for as much ammo as possible. So in your red skill tree, you want to be going for ammunition for the mortar teams. We also brought a Hell Pit Abomination, fear, terror, regeneration, all that good stuff. A monstrous unit. We got 4 Storm Vermin shield and then 4 Storm Vermin with the halberds, including the Council Guard. So here we are. We're just kind of driving the Doom Wheel around, baiting shots, trying to keep our siege equipment safe. We're getting some not line of sight issues, but just kind of firing issues in general. This cannon won't target this tower for whatever reason, so I tried moving it all the way out here, but it kind of was useless in the end. And so now the thing is basically working down and targeting the higher priority targets in a battle like this, because this is a very close battle. It's very easy to lose this battle if you misuse your ammunition count. So you want to make sure you're targeting specifically the Iron Drakes, right? The Iron Breakers and Iron Drakes, both of them. So the Iron Drakes over here, and then the Iron Breakers. These guys can do a lot of damage with very low model count to the storm vermin units. So like even if you only have like three iron drakes or so, and maybe like, and same thing with the iron breakers. If you have like 3 or 4 or 5 of them, even, they can still do a lot of damage with the blast charges or with their flamethrowers. Here we have the nasty buboes scooting up to take out the gyrocopter. Its snipe ability makes it so that none of these units actually know that it's like here technically, even though like a player, non-AI, would be able to deduce like or infer correctly that's, oh, they're right here in this location, and maybe fire back with like the grudge thrower, or, well, you can't get them with quarrelers, but maybe if you sent like a scout unit out to like expose their location, maybe you could start shooting them with towers or shooting them with the quarrelers, etc. So let's speed this up, because a lot of this is just kind of picking the right battles. So as you can see, we're still working down the threats in the iron breakers. It looks like we've got one of them routing off already. The gyrocopter is almost finished off. There it goes. Hasta la vista, hasta la bye-bye, good riddance. And then, oh, nope, it's back. So it actually kind of hangs around for a little bit longer, and then I think it routes off later in the game. So we're also trying to use up all of our ammunition pretty effectively here with our siege equipment, with our trebuchets and our lightning cannon. With the trebuchets, we line it up kind of parallel with this wall here, and we start taking out the iron drakes, and then we, after that, begin to target these iron breakers, and of course the iron drakes too, as again, those are the main sort of priority targets that you want to be focusing on. Here I start trying to target some of these thunderers, and I do a decent amount of damage to them, but I realize I should save my ammo if just in case. You don't really know exactly like what you might need the ammunition for, so you just kind of hold on to it. All right, let's see. So here are the mortars in action. It looks like they actually sent out an iron breaker, and it tried to do some work against us, but it ain't going to be able to put up a fight, and they're going to run off. But like a group like this one, 25, even though they're like almost 0 health, these guys can still do quite a bit of damage with their blast charges if your units get too close. So one thing I'd recommend is if you can get them to throw the blast charges at something like the Hell Pit Abomination, as it has regeneration. So if I were to go into the line of sight of these charges right here, or like wherever these charges are coming from, I think it's like these guys maybe. Yeah, these guys possibly. That just let it take all the charges, run away, and then you can just regenerate it. Oh, forgive me, it was these ones. This forward line right here. Alright, look, so now that we're out of ammo, we're repositioning all these guys. We want to do some pretty sick damage onto the quarrelers, as we can't approach the wall any closer to really like do more damage to the rest of these units without, getting rid of these quarrelers. Same thing with our storm vermin. We want to send in the storm vermin after we've neutralized a lot of like their missiles. The reason we can't really get these guys is because, well, we can't reach the range going from like where they are now all the way to over here, and we don't have any more ammunition to destroy the fort towers. That was another option we could have taken, is just like do a front face assault. Specifically, I would say like skew it to one side or the other. Probably the left side is usually the one that I go for. So I'd set my army up right here, and I'd destroy these 2 towers and position my army within here, because like they're mostly safe. And then all these units would be like lined up on the wall as they are, and you should be able to, with these mortar teams, take them out fairly effectively and efficiently. As you can see here, I kind of like squish them together so that when they launch their mortars, it's not like a really wide shot, but it's like a more focused one. And as you can see here, I get serious HP damage just from these 18 iron breakers right here. And oh man, that's just perfect for what I was talking about earlier, because these Ironbreakers are the real problem when it comes to like trying to win a siege battle like this. Just because even at the end, like they're just a really tanky, really high leadership unit, and so if you don't take them out completely or bait their shots, those satchel charges are just going to do so much damage to whatever unit that they come across, even if there's only like a couple models left. So as you can see, we're getting close to running out of ammunition. We have the Regiment of Renown team on reserve. We're kind of at this point not allowing them to shoot manually, and we're only shooting, or we're not shooting automatically, we're shooting manually. So, and we're focusing on Quarreler units, and I think pretty soon these two Thunderer units line up right on top of each other. Oh no, these two do. And I think I use the rest of my ammo on them. As you can see how like wide it goes when you hit them perpendicular. So like if you're facing a unit perpendicular with the mortars, they tend to take the damage a little better. So like when they're facing like face to face with your unit, that's usually when the mortar teams get like the best like damage per volley. And by squishing your unit like inwards together, as we had earlier over here, you would have been able to get a tighter or more concentrated like fire, like what would you call it, grouping of the mortar shells like onto the targets that you're trying to get. But the issue is if they're not lined up perpendicular to you and they're facing you wide like this, and your units are facing wide like tight like this and long like this way, then a lot of the fire is going to go behind and in front of them too. So you kind of want to match like the way that they're looking. So like if we're trying to kill these guys, right, we want our units going this way. But if we're trying to kill the unit when we're facing it like this, we want it face this way, if that makes sense. So here we bring the Doom Wheel and the Helpit Abomination up close. So these guys will both, contribute to like the fear and the terror that's going on up here as we try to rout these units away and finish them off. We kind of just like stick Queek up here, and we just cycle through his abilities, buffing melee defense, kind of like using his ability to explode enemy units out from around him in order to get like in order to basically advance the front line a little further. And like, because as you can see, like our units are very tightly grouped up right here, and so being able to like push back the enemy unit and allow your units to form like a more solid, I guess, like position, like forward position, in the sense that we're trying to advance down this line towards the gate, is the goal, right? In the meantime, we also get the rest of our storm vermin, and we line them up in front of the gate over here. As you'll see, we do take quite a lot of damage, not from the Iron Drake, but from, I think, some Iron Breakers like come back right here with like 18 models or so right here, and they start doing some decent damage to our guys. I think it's these guys. So there's 46 of them still, but with like 0 HP. This is what I mean. Like how much, even though like they have like this much HP left, there's still like 46 models, because these weapon teams with their mortars, they do a lot of HP damage, like splash damage. So like it doesn't directly kill units sometimes. Yeah. And like, so you have to kind of keep that in mind when doing a siege battle like this. You got to focus on the priority targets, and they are the Iron Drakes. Like that's, like, look how much damage they did to this group right here. And look what they are. They're just a group. Sure, there's 46 of them, but look how much HP they have. That's probably less than 400 HP right there, right? Like, easily just like one more volley from like any unit. Like, it could be like just like an Archer Empire unit would like take out these Iron Drakes. And Iron Drakes are pretty heavily armored, you know what I mean? So here we are able to advance our Storm Vermin forward and Queek forward, and we're able to break the gate open, and we rush our units into the gate, and we start smashing up against the Thane. And as soon as the Thane begins to rout, the rest of the units, aside from I don't know why these Thunderers decided to stick around. The Thunderers stick around, the Organ Gun for a minute, and also the Slayers, of course. But that's victory. You know, we got a victory right there. We end up killing the Slayers with the rest of our units. That's GG. And like, subscribe, follow me on Twitch, my Instagram, my YouTube. All of it's down in the description. Or not the YouTube, but the Instagram, Twitter, Twitch down in the description. Subscribe to my YouTube. All that good stuff. Love you guys. Hope you're learning a lot from these videos. I sure am. And yeah, see you guys on the next one.